These buttons we got to kick. Okay, well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the White Sands Self-Care Community. I am your host and resource for self-care and mindfulness, Laura Cross, and with me today, I have the beautiful Neelu Kaur. We have been trying to get this for quite some time, but she has 15 years of experience and specializing in adult learning and leadership development. A lot of her focus is on leadership, self-advocacy, and burnout management for individuals, teams, and organizations. So, Neelu, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for your flexibility.
Oh, no problem. Before we start the question, so how did you get into what drove you to get into this line of work?
Into which line of work?
Well, I mean, being the going through the leadership, the self advocacy,
Okay, so I am an organizational psychologist, and when I finished grad school, I was working in large companies where I was training and coaching pretty much mostly technologists. And then when I was downsized in 2013, at that point, it was like one of 6 downsizings I've been through, and I've gotten fired, I've gotten downsized. And so I realized that not in the moment, I didn't realize in the moment that I wasn't a good cheerleader for myself, but I realized after I had left and started my own practice and working with so many women and working with so many other people that self-advocacy in the workplace is so important, because otherwise you will just be part of thousands of people, depending on how large a company you work in. And so self-advocacy was one of those things that I realized, that is needed. And if for those of us that don't feel comfortable advocating for ourselves, it it's a recipe for disaster in corporate America.
I would agree. To me, it's nothing like working for yourself, but not all of us find that path. So, how would you say that self advocacy and the burnout are related?
Well, most people think self-advocacy in the workplace is just related to like performance review conversations or asking for a promotion, asking for a raise. But in actuality, and specifically during the pandemic, we learned that, we are our whole selves. So we cannot just leave our personal life at the door and then log into our computer and then think, oh, I'm a different person. And so when we don't speak up and ask for things that we need, that contributes to burnout, and that contributes to overwhelm, and that contributes to just feeling a lack of control about your life. And so I think self-advocacy and burnout and energy management go hand in hand, because we have to ask for what we need. Otherwise, your employer or your family will keep asking, and taking. And so you want to be able to speak up for the things that you need.
Yeah, it's actually amazing. I've met a number of people that may have worked at a job for a long time. They haven't seen a raise, they haven't seen this, and they feel like underappreciated. But on the other hand, like you said, they didn't advocate for themselves. They never even asked about it. They just kept going through the motions.
Right. Keeping your head down and saying my work will speak for itself. And that's never the case. That's never the case. So,
It would be nice if it was, but
yeah, exactly.
yeah. So, what are ways to set yourself up for success in the like? How would you suggest that somebody sets themselves up for success in the morning, in the evening, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I am a lifelong learner and practitioner of Ayurveda, which is a holistic healing system. It's based in India. It's 5,000 years old. Yoga comes from Ayurveda. It translates to the science of life. And so Ayurveda has morning routines and evening routines that help us live holistically. And I think some of the challenges that we face, especially when we first wake up, is that we rush into our day and we rush into all of our responsibilities. And so one of the basic premises and techniques that, or tools rather, that Ayurveda mentions about morning routines is in order to set yourself up for success, there's some things that you want to do. And the first thing is not grab your phone the minute you wake up. Because what happens is you're training your brain to be reactive and distracted all day, because you're responding to social media, you're responding to email, you're responding to the pings and the dings and the WhatsApp messages. And so essentially your brain is starting out sort of depleted and overwhelmed, and that's not a great way to set yourself up for success. And usually that's the first thing that people are like, well, I can't do that. Like I use it as my alarm, or I reach for it immediately. And so if you can't do an hour, which is what's actually suggested, an hour to ease into your day, then maybe 30 minutes, and just try that one thing and notice how differently your day is going to unfold.
Yeah, that's one thing. And I do use it for an alarm. And that's one thing I've done is, and for one, they say it's really bad because a lot of us have it sitting like right next to our head on the nightstand. I mean, for one, when I'm done working, my phone's off. It's not going to ring. It's not going to disturb me. I don't care who in the world, pings me. I don't get it till later, but I've put it a distance away. I've gotten in the habit of at least shutting the alarm off. But then other than that, the phone can sit until I'm done. But
Oh,
yeah, it's tough for a lot of people nowadays.
yeah. And I think it requires discipline because you've disciplined yourself to not reach for it and start using it. Most people don't do that. They'll just reach for it, turn off the alarm, and then they're looking at the news, they're looking at the headlines that happened while they were asleep, right? And it's just, again, setting yourself up for being very distracted throughout the day.
Yeah. So what kind of routine or what does Ayurveda suggest for the evening?
Evenings, to set yourself up for sleep and restorative sleep. So the hour before bed, just like the hour as we enter into the day, is sort of like easing into the day. So you want to, put the phone to the side. You want to get 15 minutes of direct sunlight that helps the melatonin production. So similarly at night, what happens is your body starts emitting melatonin at night around 9 p.m. So in order for your body to continue doing that, you really want to give yourself ramp down time in the evening. So the hour before bed, you want to not talk about bills or look at things online that are related to anything that's going to stress you out, news, right? And even with the melatonin production, any lights that are coming in towards you are going to impact the production. So Ayurveda suggests for best sleep hygiene is that the lights come over the shoulders or in a different direction. So it's not directly coming into your eyes because that will impact the circadian rhythm cycles that we're trying to harmonize with what's going on outside in the world.
So no reading the Kindle at night before you go to bed.
I mean, ideally, although the Kindle, you can adjust the setting, the lighting.
Mhm.
Ideally, it's the old school physical book, but
Oh,
I know a lot of us are trying to, as you can see, I have so many books that I'm trying to not buy more books. And so one of the things is I do use the iPad, but then I have it on the night settings. And so that helps. But in an ideal world, a physical book.
yeah. And I, like you, I have a lot of books, but that's also because I know a lot of authors and they're all personally signed. So I like having those. But sometimes if someone's trying to sleep next to you, it's easier to. So how do you use the Ayurveda in burnout management?
So, again, Ayurveda has specific things that are related to managing your mind and managing overwhelm. So, another basic another basic thing that Ayurveda mentions is to give yourself time to synthesize information and to decompress. So what we do in modern day is we go back to back. We schedule back to back meetings. We have no downtime to do any processing. So ideally, you want to be kind and compassionate to yourself and create these buffers or these pockets of time that allow you to do deep work or deep processing. So you're not overloading your body and you're not overloading your mind.
Which really makes sense when you think about it. It's just a lot of us don't go in that process.
I
So
think
Neela, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying that the fascinating thing is Ayurveda is 5,000 years old, and there was these rishis or these truth seekers that were writing this spiritual text and these scriptures, and those same principles apply even more today in the modern world that we live in, because perhaps they could forecast and shadow what was happening. I don't know, but we are in this place of constant overwhelm and in
Mhm.
this place of fake connections where it's all about social media and it's not really going out into the world and connecting with people. And I think that's impacting our mental health and adding to burnout.
Yeah, absolutely. So Neela, do you do coaching? Do you do workshops? What is it that how do you normally work with people?
All of the above. So I do a lot of speaking engagements in organizations where I talk about self-advocacy relating to my book, Be Your Own Cheerleader. I also do workshops on Ayurveda and sort of burnout management through the lens of a holistic approach. And so speaking, workshops, and also coaching. I take on individual coaching clients.
Okay. So do you ever do retreats or workshops or not
I'm
much?
usually brought in to do, like, I'm part of the
Okay.
schedule of like people speaking on those events or in those events. So I don't actually create my own retreats.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And where's the best place for people to get a hold of your book or to connect with you?
So you can grab a hold of Be Your Own Cheerleader anywhere where you can find books. So Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, you can even go to your local bookstore and request them to carry it, and they will if you want to support local. On my website, neelukaur.com, and LinkedIn and Instagram are where I'm most active. LinkedIn is the most active platform.
Okay, wonderful. And we will make sure we put all of that into the comments so people will know how to connect with you.
Thank
And
you.
by all means, if you are part of those groups or the retreat, or you're going to be speaking somewhere, please feel free to share it with the group here. That,
Absolutely.
that way they can all know where they can find you. It might be in your area. Where are you normally? Where are you normally based out of?
New York. I'm in New York.
Okay, you are New York. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if you travel to do that, but I know we have people from all over. So any final words that you want to share with people before we go today?
I think be kind and compassionate to yourself. And oftentimes we think we have to go to listen to a podcast or read a book or do all of these things for self-care. And self-care really comes from within. And I think it starts with just asking yourself, what do I need in this moment? And you know the answer more than anyone else.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I always tell people it's different for everybody. So,
And
well,
different in that moment, right? Like you might need
it,
a
it,
nap.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I am one of those ones that normally space out my schedule, and then something came up to where my tax returns were done, and I was almost going to attempt to go run out and get it and come back. And before I thought, yeah, no, that's way too much stress because I could hit traffic. I'm not doing.
Right.
It's like,
Exactly.
so that could get tabled for later. And instead, I went out and took a walk with the dogs.
That
That
sounds
seems
wonderful.
so much nicer.
Yeah. And
But
I noticed your outfit, and I'm assuming you're in the South somewhere.
I am, yes. I moved from Colorado to Missouri, so we're going to start cooling off a little bit, but it is nicer out here. We are in the higher 60s right now, mid to high
Okay. It's
60s.
yeah, we're freezing. It's like we went back to winter for a few days, so it's very cold here.
Yeah, yep. Colorado just got 12 inches of snow not too long ago, so I know it just depends on where you're at. But when I get the chance, I love to
Yes.
go out and enjoy nice warm weather. So.
Yeah.
Well, Neelu, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm glad we finally got to do this and for sharing with everybody. And everybody, have a wonderful day. I know we've got another episode coming up later today. And if not, I wish everyone a really nice weekend, no matter where you are, and go out and do something that you enjoy. We'll see you later.